Hello everybody, welcome back to our second video for 9.2. So tonight the students are supposed to look at the first video, they're supposed to look at the second video, they're supposed to take the second video and they're supposed to write a summary over what they learned and a question or two of things they want to ask tomorrow morning. So what we are going to try is looking through this today, and if you have questions, make sure you bring it to tomorrow. So today's lesson is going to be converting easy fractions to decimals and percents. Yesterday was just kind of an example of that, so today we're going to take what we see as easy fractions, the ones that kids work on a lot, and able to convert them both to decimals and percents and be able to go back and forth. The game that is linked on the website is a good example of this, where you can practice matching them up, and you'll see that at the link below this video. So let's start with this problem here. So Alfred, Nadine, Kayla, and Jackson each took the same math test. There were 20 problems on the test. So as we can see here, let me get this here. As we can see right here, okay, there are 20 problems on the test. So 100% would be getting all 20 right. Okay, if Alfred missed half the problems, he missed 50 hundredths of the problems, and that's 50% of the problems. So how many problems did he miss? Well, if it's half of them that he missed, or 50% if he missed, what is half of 20? Well, I hope you guys know the answer is 10, right there. Okay, so what is 1/2 of 20? 1/2 of 20 is 10. Or what is 50% of 20? If you know 50% is the same as 1/2, you know the answer is 10. Good, so let's move on here. Maybe. Alright, so remember that it's easy to rename a fraction as a percent when the denominator is 100. And those are the ones we kind of worked on with your thing that you did at the end of class today. So for example, 32 out of 100 is the same as 32%. Any amount of 100 is always that percent. So 16 out of 100 is 16%. 47 out of 100 is 47%. Okay? There are other fractions, though, that are a little harder. You know, they are not out of 100. So 1/2 isn't out of 100. There's no second spot in decimals. There's no second spot in percents. But if you know half of 100 is 50, you know 1/2 is the same as 50%. 1/4, 1/5, 1/10 can all be renamed as percents really easily. Knowing such equivalent fractions will make your percent so much easier. So knowing your equivalent fractions, knowing how to move a fraction from a fraction to a decimal, all of these will help you to make it much easier when you start talking about percents. Okay, this is the one we just did. Okay, so let's look at this one. Okay, so Nadine missed 1/4 of the problems. She missed 25 hundredths of the problems. She missed 25%. So you go here and you'll see that we marked off 25 different squares. Now you can also see, if you look at the big lines right here, you got, let me draw a line here. Oh, come on. Maybe. We kind of have it cut into 4 parts right there. So 1/4 of it was shaded in. So 1/4 of 100 is 25. So looking at that, you should know how many problems did she miss. 1/4 of 20 is, and 25% of 20 is. So how many problems did she miss? She missed 5 problems. 1/4 of, let me see, how many problems are there? Let me go back here. Oh, it's a 20 problem test. We need that information to be able to move on. So 1/4 of 20 is 5. 20 cut into 4 parts is 5. So the same answer is here. So 25% of 20 is that. So now we're at 1/10. So what is 1/10 of 20? Well, we're cutting it into 10 parts. So what is 20 cut into 10 parts? Well, 20 cut into 10 parts is going to be 2. 2 times 10 equals 20. So 1/10 of 20 is 2, and 10% of 20 is 2. All right, moving down here. 1/5. Well, what is 1/5 of 20? 20 cut into 5 parts. What times 5 equals 20? It would be 4. Okay, and then just like anything else, 1/5 of 20 would be 4, and then 20% would be 4. So knowing that 1/5 of 100 is cut into 5 parts, and one of those parts is worth 20. So knowing 1/5 is worth 20%, and knowing 1/10 is worth 10%, and knowing 1/4 is worth 25% will really help to save you time during this. Okay? Why don't you do these? These will be pretty easy for you. Pause it for a second and make sure you have the decimal and the percent equivalents for this. Alright, so let's see how you guys did. There you go. Moving on. Once again, see if you can get it right. Let's see how you did. Good. Now, knowing that that's worth 1/2 and 50%, knowing that 1/5 is worth 20%, so 4/5, 4 times 20 will give you 80. That's how we got that. Let's try this one. A little tougher still. Okay, the first one's going to be a little tough. 35%, let me explain how you do that. 20, this is tough because the denominator's not out of 100. But 20 times what gave you 100? Well, 20 times 5 would give you 100. So if you did whatever you do the bottom, you got to do the top. So 7 times 5 would give you 35, which is where we got this, and 35%. Okay, same here. How many times can 25 go in 100? It can go in 4 times. So if you multiply both the top and the bottom by 4, what is 3 times 4? 3 times 4 is 12%. Okay, right here, this one's interesting because we have an improper fraction. The number on the top is bigger than the number on the bottom. So remember how I talked about pizza? Okay, if a pizza is cut into 2 slices and you eat 2 of it, you ate the whole thing. Well, if you ate 14 slices of that would be 7 full pizzas, because 7 times 2 would give you 14, and that's the same as 700%. 1 would be worth 100%, 2 would be worth 200%, 7 is worth 700%. Alright, so once again, this, we have 3/4 of the square. It's cut into 4 parts. 3 of them are filled in, which is why we have that. But that's the same as 75 little squares out of 100. And just like if we had 3/4 out of 4 makes $1, 75 cents out of 100 makes that, which translates into 75 hundredths or 75%. Same as here. Try this one. Pause it if you'd like. Alright. So this is a way of showing 2/5. We have 2 groups out of 5. 2/5 are shaded, which is the same as 40, because you can see 10, 20, 30, 40 out of 100. And once we have it out of 100, the rest of this becomes very easy. I hope you're learning that you always want to try to turn the fraction into out of 10 or out of 100 because it makes it very easy. Here, if I had 3/5 shaded in, same there, that would be the same as 60 over 100ths, and so on. Pause it and try the next 2. Alright, let's see how you did. There you go. Hope you're doing a good job. Alright, if you were going to fill these in, how much would you fill in for 3/10? I hope you got 30 out of 100, and then it translates down. And 7/10 and 9/10, I'm going to assume you have this. Pause it if you want, but here are the answers. Okay, now, parents and students, you remember that we filled this out and we listed all sorts of equivalent fractions. There are more on this list that that aren't on here, but it just gives you an idea of when we were coming up with equivalent fractions, we filled out this chart. But if you have 0 out of 2, that as a decimal is the same as 0, which is the same as 0%. Okay, 1/2 would be the same as 50%, or 50 over 100ths, same as 50%. Okay, right here, these are all easy ones. 1/4, think of quarters. 100 cut into 4 parts, $1 cut into 4 parts is 25 cents, or 25%. Okay, but if you had 1/4 is worth 25 cents, but 3/4 would be worth 75 cents, or 75 hundredths, or 75%. And the same is true right there. 100 cut into 5 parts, that's why we have the 1/5 here. 5 times 20 cents would give you $1. 5 times 20 hundredths would give you 1 whole. 5 times 20% would give you 100. Moving on, try to figure these out. Pause it. All right, let's see how you did. Yeah, maybe. I'm trying, guys. There we go. All right, see how you did. Moving on. Try these. There you go. Try these. There you go. If you have time, try to think of equivalent fractions too. That's good practice, that you always are able to give me an equivalent fraction. All right. Try these two for me. I apologize for the email in the bottom corner. I'll make sure to get rid of that next time. Here you go. And here, this is a word problem about adding percents. There's no difference here other than making sure your decimal points are lined up. And if it's an and, the, or and, you're adding them up. So it should be a sum problem here. So if you added those up, it should be right there, should be your answer. Let me fill that, or this is the one right here. This should be the answer. All right. And these are just some that you can work on in your own. These are some ones that we'll probably do later on for homework. Okay. And right here would be some other ones that you could work on if you need some more help. So that's the lesson for today. If you guys need any help, please make sure you write out a summary of what you learned from this lecture and also questions that you can bring to class tomorrow. All right. Thank you guys so much.